Well, I'm here with Mark Johnson, and we're here at the Hobie Innovation Design, I guess, pretty much exhibition here today. And you and I have had a long association with Hobie, and I'd like you to just go ahead and talk about what you're doing with Hobie now, and how you guys are making some inroads into a lot of new stuff.
Mm-hmm. We're making, right now it's just we're just kind of exploding with a lot of new designs. A lot of people coming into the fold in surfboards, Tyler Warren, Donovan Frankenreiter, just trying to explore a different avenue aside from, what we did in the decade of 2000, which was a lot of traditional longboards. We still make traditional longboards. I oversee surfboards and stand-up paddleboards for Hobie. I'm a longtime shaper, shaped few boards for you over the past since the mid-90s.
So I will say that some of the best boards I have, and I still have, were made by you. And I'm really impressed with, I was in the shop to see Terry a while back, and I saw some of Tyler Warren's stuff in there that was really pretty progressive, but still old school, but progressive. The pointed nose, that pink thing in there was just beautiful. But I think you guys have been really exploding on the SUP world too, and the paddleboard thing, which is really something that goes back to my lifeguarding days, and I'm really impressed with your stuff. So maybe you can expand a little bit on how you guys got into that.
We really got into it, was at Outdoor Retailer of all places, showing Hobie apparel.
Right, yeah.
And, I heard about Laird catching a wave at Malibu with a paddle in his hand, and one of the guys that was at the show was Kilo Paddles, and I wanted to do it, but didn't have a board, didn't have a paddle, couldn't find a paddle, so I bought one from the show, shipped it back, thought my wife was going to kill me because it was $130, and I didn't have a board at the time, so I came back and really just shaped the first stand-up paddleboard, made the dimensions all wacky and wrong, but that was the beginning, and we got into it because we wanted to do something on the water, really fitness-oriented, distance, and then it evolved into a lot of different disciplines with recreational, racing, and then also the surfing side.
Well, it seems like it's fitting that Hobie did this, and thank God that you guys are there to do it. I saw a lot of stuff happening that really wasn't indicative of quality, and what you guys have done has been experimental. Mm-hmm. I mean, you've done some tremendous, exciting things about creating and doing it yourselves, mm-hmm. not sending it out to somebody and having it mass produced someplace. You guys are hands-on on a daily basis creating new stuff, much like in the tradition of Hobie. So,
well, that's what we're fortunate to have the legacy of Hobie. And the great thing about the company and Hobie himself is they're innovators, and his sons Jeff and Hobie, they're constantly pushing to do more, and they've never held me back from doing new designs, new shapes. There's never been like, whoa, we got to kind of slow down. It's always been, let's just go and run with it. That's the way it's been with surfboards, with back when Hobie made the first foam boards,
right?
Back to, and then you translate that to stand-up paddleboards. With now we're dealing with EPS and carbon fiber boards, and we're fortunate to have a factory that Hobie built in 1962. We still go down there and we still create our prototypes and do quite a bit of production out of there.
The Alley of Broken Dreams.
But there's no Broken Dream on Domingo. The Alley of Broken Dreams is behind it. But no, it's neat to be able to be part of it, because we're always pushing. Now we're pushing EPS, and then we're pushing new designs with, Tyler, with him wanting to explore epoxy.
What a creative kid.
He's a fantastic kid. I was just talking to his dad, and he's pushing it, and he asked me, he goes, what's your job? And I go, well, overseeing all surfboards, shaping sometimes, designing SUPs, and I'm trying to keep up with Tyler because he's just a million miles an hour, and which is fantastic for us. He's an innovator, and he fits right into the mold of where we came from, I came from. Hobie was the king of them all, and how many things are out here in this lobby, the Hobie cat, the skateboards, the float cats. I mean, it's just one thing that blew me away was the Hobie Hawk, the glider.
Right. Yeah.
And
the putter, and
Yeah, it's all kinds of neat stuff. So he's never held us back, and I think that's why we jump ahead when it comes to SUP. I feel like we lead the pack when it comes there, because we have a lot of history in, we're board builders.
Right.
We build boards. We built boards.
You have the passion.
Yeah, we built boards since 1950, and I always kind of tell people, I go, we've built boards in every decade since wood. So I go, there's not a decade that's gone by that we can't look back and go, oh, there's a classic 60s board that we want to recreate, or there's a 70s down rail, or a 70s twin fin that started it all, or 80s boards.
Wow.
And then the 90s was kind of like when I met you, and it was, we kind of, at that point, we kind of looked back in our archives and brought stuff from old and made it new again.
Right.
And then the decade of 2000 was fantastic, and
you guys,
here we are in 2012.
And now the paddle boards, I come from a lifeguard background and used to paddle, and I see the paddle boards that you guys are putting out, and there not only are paddle boards by just paddling, and there's stand-up paddle boards. So you guys have taken it out to a whole new level. I mean, the creativity and the designs are phenomenal.
Well, thank you.
Now, who's responsible for most of those designs?
I'm kind of responsible for a lot of them. I have a passion for getting out in the water and paddling, and when we started making lay-down paddle boards, probably early 2000 again, but we had a history of, Hobie was a champion paddle boarder, he was making them out of balsa. So when we started making lay-down paddle boards, it kind of progressed from there to then at the same time the stand-up thing started happening around 2004, and that's when we kind of started looking at like more hull designs. And I remember some of the first racing boards that we made, which I think one of them's in here that Chuck had won the Battle of Paddle on. I remember Hobie coming in and looking at it, and there was something about it that he didn't like, and he goes, you can never have the hull do this, so I'm like, okay. So he's like, he goes, make them stiffer, make them lighter. Wow. Stiffer and lighter is always better.
Yeah, so he's still got his hands on, or still got his mind into it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we listen when he says it. And I'm like, we never do. We listen because he's got this history that goes back.
Well, Mark, all I can tell you is we've been through this with Hobie, and we've come a long way and watched a lot of growth in it. And I'll tell you, you guys are doing a great job.
Thanks.
And so thank you.
Thank you.